And here's the problem when I watch NFL football nowadays. Nobody's good at short yardage and goal line situations. Most teams don't even work at it, Michael. They don't put the pads on. They don't get down in short yardage and goal line situations. And so what they try and do is they try and trick you. They try and get in these open sets, and they try and get the ball on the edge because they don't feel that they can make a yard or half a yard running straight ahead. And that is a big problem. Well, guys, that first drive really sent a message, I think, to everyone in the stadium. It certainly should have sent a message to the Raiders that, Carolina was going to play 60 minutes of football. But I think it sent a message to the sideline of the Carolina Panthers. It sent a message that, hey, we've got a quarterback that we can win with. We can actually win this game. And Andy Dalton was a breath of fresh air, I think, for the wide receivers, the running back, the offensive line. I mean, this is an offense that came in converting a league low 9%. Think about that, 9% of their third down opportunities. And it was much better yesterday. And, of course, Andy Dalton, you look at 163 career starts. So, for a quarterback like Bryce Young, who was 2-16, they really felt like this guy gave him a chance. And I was so disappointed. I can't say I was shocked. Michael and I have been there, but to see the Raiders, have that impressive come from behind win against the Ravens and then go to their home opener and really lay an egg, just play just absolutely awful football. And then after the game, your head coach saying that, players made business decisions. I mean, this is week 3 in the NFL. It's unacceptable, and that has to change. And at some point, the players in the locker room have to take ownership.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing there. You and I both lived it. We've both been around it. You're smoking cigars after a regular season week 2 win. It's going to your head. Let's talk about the Raiders just for a second here. They can't run the football. I mean, look, they want to talk about who should be the starting quarterback, but they have no ability with this offensive line, not even against Carolina, to run the ball.
Michael, they're dead last in rushing. They came into the game dead last in rushing, and, of course, they'll stay there based on what happened against the Carolina Panthers. This is an offense that, through the first 3 weeks of the season, has gotten off to really slow starts in games, and a big reason why is they can't establish a line of scrimmage. They're not great up front. They keep having some issues, especially along the interior and the right side of the offensive line has been a problem for a while, as you know. And you've got these backs in Zamir White and Alexander Mattison that, they barely make it back to the line of scrimmage. The negative runs. There's so many negative plays right now for the Raiders. And I thought, after the preseason that in order for the Raiders to be competitive, they have to do a couple things. They have to be able to run the football, they have to play great defense, and be solid in the kicking game. And I think the strength of their football team right now is the special teams unit. They've got a good punter and a good kicker, but the offensive line isn't very good. I think they have to manage the quarterback situation as best they can. But if you can't run the football with that operation, it's just going to be a long, long season for the Raiders.
Yeah, no question. Let's talk about a former Raider quarterback, Derek Carr. Sensational in the first 2 weeks against Carolina. Then he goes against Dallas, which we know really struggled. He only threw 16 passes against the Cowboys. But yesterday he looked like the Carr of old. I thought Jalen Carter's presence inside really rushed him on all his throws. What did you think?
Michael, you and I have had these conversations over the years. I mean, you give the guy a clean pocket, he's as good as there is in the NFL. He's got rare arm talent. He's a smart player. He sees the field. He understands fronts and protections. But if you get around him and you push him up inside, that's really what affects Carr. That push up inside, he's just never going to be good in a congested, muddy pocket. He's a little bit like Kirk Cousins that way. He doesn't trust his feet. He's not going to use his legs to escape pressure very often. And he struggles trying to create and manufacture some offense on his own. So, when you look at the first couple games, I mean, especially the week before against the Cowboys, they established the line of scrimmage. They got the outside zone run going. They got Kamara going. He had 115 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. But when they can't run the ball and they can't, be on schedule, then he's always going to struggle. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, we're judged by one thing as quarterbacks in the NFL, wins and losses. He's 74-88 as a starting quarterback in this league, 74-88. The numbers in New Orleans haven't been all that much different. I think we have a tendency to overreact to what we saw before. Look, he's failed to complete 20 passes in any game this season. So it's not like they're leaning on him. Dennis Allen's a smart guy. I mean, they know that, they've got to protect them. They know they want to keep the numbers down a little bit. They know they want to run the ball and play great defense. And when they don't do that, it's always going to be a challenge for the Saints.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Rich, they have a chance to win. They gave up 2 big plays. I mean, they did do exactly what you said. They gave up 2 big plays, which ultimately cost them the game. And I think that is, watching Kirk Cousins last night, I didn't get the sense I don't feel like there's a lot of velocity on the football. I don't think he can move. I don't think his lower body looks good. I thought the fourth down running sideways was a disaster. I really did. I thought, to me, if you're a tough team playing at home, put the ball in your $100 million man hand and let him win. Let him make the play for you, not run sideways and gives the Chiefs an advantage. What were your thoughts on the way Cousins played and that call?
They have to be sick this morning when you look at that film, the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they get stuffed twice in the fourth quarter, and down in the red zone. They got them at the 6-yard line, they got them at the 13-yard line, and they get stuffed both times. And I just, when you watch the play call from Zach Robinson as a first-time play caller, Michael, I think it's really a work in progress. I mean, the run game and the passing game, it's not married. You look at Kyle Shanahan, you look at how they run the ball and plays that look the same yet are different, plays that set up other plays. You don't see that when you really break down what they're doing offensively. I don't know how many bubble screens and wide screens and perimeter type plays they tried to run because of the issues they have. They have some issues along the offensive line as well. I mean, they had some players that were banged up and missing from the game last night. You got a quarterback that can't move, and you got a quarterback that's never going to help you in the running game, right? So you got a couple backs in Algier and Robinson, but that call on fourth down, I mean, when you go back and look at it, if I'm Raheem Morris, I say to the offense, that's the best we have. In that situation, that's the best run we have. We get in split backs. One back is deeper than the other, and we run a perimeter run on 4th and inches. That's the best we have. And here's the problem when I watch NFL football nowadays. Nobody's good at short yardage and goal line situations. I guess Philadelphia is, a handful of teams, but most teams don't even work at it, Michael. They don't put the pads on. They don't get down in short yardage and goal line situations. You don't bring in the extra, you don't bring in the extra big man. You don't have a fullback on your roster. You don't have a back that can go up there and thump it. Like a Zach Crockett, somebody that can go in there and Derrick Henry and just knock you backwards. Not a lot of teams have that. And so what they try and do is they try and trick you. They try and get in these open sets and they try and get the ball on the edge because they don't feel that they can make a yard or half a yard running straight ahead. And that is a big problem. How many times we get down in the goal line and we have a 4th and goal and we have the quarterback in the gun? I mean, that was unheard of back in the day.
Yep. Oh, I agree completely. I think, to me, when you look at playoff teams that win playoff games, it's because they control 3rd and short. That's the key to playoff games. You've got to win the 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 1s, and you've got to be able to do it. And you need to get under center because they're going to blitz and bring in all that pressure. But then when you run sideways, are you kidding me? Speaking of lacking run defense, I mean, Dallas, just watching them, and Mike Zimmer, Paul Gunther. We all know Mike's a really good coach. For me, when I watch them, they're just not talented enough defensively. What do you see?
Michael, I think the MO, you think about a scouting report when you're going to play the Dallas Cowboys. I think the message around the league is loud and clear. I mean, it started when you look at the Packers did to them in the playoff game last year. Punch them in the mouth. Get an early lead on these guys and run the ball right at them and make them stop the run. They don't want to play the run. They want to rush the passer. They want to get sacks. They want to intercept the football, but they don't want to roll up their sleeves and get dirty down in the trenches and stop the run. New Orleans put 190 on them. The Ravens put 274 on them yesterday, and it could have been more. I mean, Derrick Henry, he's not an easy back to tackle. You have to go into the equipment room the week of the game and change out your shoulder pads. You have to get the big boy pads. You know what I mean? You have to get down there and stop the run. They didn't do that. And, you look at the rushing differential, Michael. I know this is something that's always been important to you and Coach Belichick and everywhere you've been. 223-yard differential. 223 yards. 274 to 51. The Cowboys can't run it. Right? They don't try to run it, and they can't stop the run. That is a bad problem moving forward.
Yeah, no question. And of course, Mike McCarthy's going to get blamed for it all. But the reality of it is I think there's two kind of problems you get into. It's either a design problem or a production problem. And I think this is a design problem. I mean, their team's not built to run the football right now, and they don't have a back. So, and then they have no defensive tackles to stop the run. And like you said, everybody wants to run up the field and handle that. So for me, I think that's the issue.
Here's the great thing in Dallas. When the owner is the general manager and he picks the players, it's never the fault of the players, ever.
Never.
It's always
We've lived
the fault. staff.
We've
Isn't
lived that,
amazing?
Rich. I mean, we've
And
gone
that's
through
gonna
that
be-
whole. That's the Raiders.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.